Hello, and welcome back to another edition of TJ Plays with Some AI. This is part two of me talking about the Figma console MCP. For those who didn't see the first post or the first video, the Figma console MCP is kind of like the Figma dev mode MCP, except it extends that functionality to be a little bit wider. It casts a much wider net and returns a lot more Figma data. That isn't so the Figma dev mode is great for if you're looking to generate code that's mainly tailored towards React and Tailwind. It's very component specific, but it's also very narrow in the data that it can return. It's great for what it is if you're looking to kind of create a component and then go one-to-one when you're going to move that to your development environment. But this one is more focused on the bits and the data and then the larger picture of what's available within your Figma projects. So a lot of design systems have design system artifacts that are kind of spread across multiple projects. So in this Figma desktop screen that you see in here, I have an altitude design system opened up with a banner component. I have a demo design system UI kit that I have for our context-based design system demos. This is open to a alert component. I have Tamagui, which is a great publicly accessible design system that's open to an announcement component. And then I have Primer, which is GitHub's design system, and I have that one open to a banner component. Now, I'd like to show some of the features of the Figma console MCP. For these demos, I'm using Claude Desktop because Claude Desktop's just easier to use for these demos. And it's kind of code agnostic because the point of these demos is I'm trying to show you the data that's being returned. And then I don't want to make any assumptions when I'm showing the features of the Figma console MCP by putting this in Claude code or putting this in Cursor or saying that it's great for code, because this could be reused for whatever your role is. So if you're using this to create documentation, then maybe Claude Desktop is the right place for it. Maybe Claude Desktop creating an artifact that can be used as a PDF or as Markdown that you can add to your documentation application. But if you are looking to generate code, then sure, you could hook this MCP up to Cursor or whatever your IDE is of choice, and then have full awareness of your code base, and then allow that data that's returned from this MCP to help inform your AI client to make development decisions of whatever it is you're trying to do in your development environment. So for this one, I want to kind of demonstrate this casting of the wide net piece that I'm talking about. So first, I'm just going to get a gut check on where it's at. Can you please tell me what the status is of Figma using the Figma console MCP? So I'm going to run this prompt. You can see here, these are all my MCPs that I have connected, and here's the Figma console. And I don't have the Figma dev mode one connected. At some point, I'm going to do one of these demos where I do like a compare and contrast thing, but I wanted to make sure that the AI didn't get confused as to which MCP should be being called. So it did a get Figma status. It says the current Figma page that I was working with before was the context-based design system, so it caught that one. But it's catching the four main ones that I have open right now, and it looks like it actually caught a desktop tab that I have open as well. So that's great. So I'm going to say something like, can you scan each one of these Figma projects and let me know how many of them have a banner component? So this is kind of an example of saying, okay, you've returned all this information about what you're seeing from my Figma projects that I have open. And as we all know, there's lots of design systems that we work with that have components that could be spread across several projects, where there's a parent component library, and then maybe there's some child component libraries that are very product specific or device specific or mode specific. And so sometimes you want to be able to compare and contrast or get certain data or analytics from how the comparison or how the combination of some of these components in these different projects might work together. So what this is doing is it's grabbing all of the data that it's finding from these, it's searching through them, and it's pulling out accurately, like as was shown at the beginning, The altitude design system and the primer design system are the two ones that it found the banner in. This is the banner component in the altitude design system. This is the banner component in the GitHub design system and primer. And then, this is an alert or an announcement, they call it. Didn't catch that one. And this is the closest we have to that, which is an alert in the context-based design system one. And it did not catch that. So I don't want to make these too long, so I thought this would be a good intro to show you what it's like for what it can do trying to scan all of these different documents. What I could do now is dig a little bit deeper. Maybe I can say something like, can you gather all of the component properties of the altitude design system banner? So if we were to do a step deeper into doing more component analysis, and we were getting deeper into some of the just general design systems heuristics reporting, this would be the way that we would approach it. We could do this full sail and then go through, ask it to do, it'd be a really long response we would get. Or we can go specific component by component, which might be a good example for before you hand this off to the development environment, run this report in GitHub, in Claude desktop, and then converse with it, like do a little back and forth with it, and then have it give you what you need to know, and then ask it questions because it has contextual information about the component, not just what Figma Dev Mode MCP might give you, which is going to be mainly React and Tailwind, so like the values of the tokens, not necessarily the token architecture. And then the on the other side of that is the Figma console MCP, which is kind of what provides the data to Figma Dev Mode MCP in order for it to be able to give you what it currently gives you today. So if we look at what we asked for, I said just give me those properties. It's digging in there. It's giving me all of the different properties, as you can see, that are defined here. Expanded, the variants, it gives them to me in order, this title text. It gives me the descriptive text that's over here. It gives me the Boolean properties, the description that's over here, and then it gives me component architecture. It gives me all the different variants that have been outlined, visual reference. And then if I wanted to, I can open that up. So this gives me a screenshot capabilities, so that way we can actually see what it's looking at. So that's pretty handy. And then if we wanted to go deeper into this, we can start asking about, are there any hard-coded values that we need to be concerned about? How is accessibility on this component? And it'll start providing you all of this information. And then if you wanted to, you could layer this with the Design Systems Assistant MCP and then do what's similar to what the Figma Lint plugin is doing and say, how does this banner stand up against best practices for commonly used banners? And then it might offer saying, maybe you need a size variant or something like that, or maybe there's some other recommendations or suggestions that it might supply for you. So anyway, I just wanted to touch on this. This is a good way for you to do component audits, and then you could take this to a much larger level. So in the beginning of this, I wanted to show how you can kind of extend that wide net and then reel it in to individual specific component data. And really it's the capabilities are endless when it comes to how you want to compare and contrast. If I wanted to, I could say, do the similar analysis on the primer banner and then compare the two. And then let me know that if I'm building a product for a CRM and these are the types of users, which one would be the most and which one would be the most useful and what parts am I missing from what. So just a lot of fun stuff that we could do with this. Stay tuned, I'll do a part 3 where I think I'll do some code generation just so that we can see what the output on the code side might be when we do Figma Dev Mode versus the Figma console MCP. Okay, hope you enjoyed this. More soon.